today's guest. Usama Siddiquee is a Bengali-American stand-up comedian and actor based in New York City, and today he's here to talk about Mango Bae, his podcast with Pranav Bihari, where they go off the rails about issues affecting the South Asian diaspora and more. Take a look.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Oh shit.
Salman, Shah Rukh, and Amar Khan.
Take your time. Take your time.
Take your time.
No, Hassan, it's all good. We're not pushing.
FMK. Damn. Okay. You gotta marry Shah Rukh because he's a romantic.
Done.
Boom.
Done.
You gotta fuck Amr just off the sheer talent.
Okay.
Off that raw Dangal
Right.
talent. his commitment to the role. I love how he started fat and then got buff.
Dude, yeah.
He goes, let's start the game down 15 just cause. So you gotta just fuck that raw,
Yep.
you know,
And you got to kill someone.
energy, and you gotta kill someone.
Because that'd be a good thing for all of us.
Yeah, you gotta kill someone. Yeah.
Any reason?
I mean, because he's ran someone over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
yes!
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Nobody talks about
Thank
it.
you.
I mean,
Nobody
Nobody
talks about that.
He's the Caitlyn Jenner of brown
And
people.
I'm so good on stage.
Everyone, please give a warm Bill Brunch welcome to Usama Siddiquee. Yeah.
What's up?
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Oh my God.
So tell us about the podcast and how it got started.
It's Mango Bae. It's a podcast about South Asian issues, but it's not in the way that people have seen before. It's kind of, I feel like most Indians in the media right now are portrayed as kind of like these, like virgins, you know, and like sort of these, just like not sexual beings. They don't talk about anything that's real to them. So this is like a way to undo that repression a little bit and just kind of like go into like the South Asian diasporic, like first generation immigrant issues, but in a way that's like rambunctious and like doesn't like not talk about fucking and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good
Can I say it?
takeaway.
Can I say?
Yeah, say
Okay.
whatever you want.
Okay. Fucking.
What is Mango Bae?
Mango Bae. So we were on shrooms once when me and my co-host, and while we were on shrooms, we were professing our love for each other. This is my co-host Pranav, and during that experience, we were kind of like hugging and eating like dried mangoes from the table, and I was like, "You're my bae," and he was like, "You're my Mango Bae."
Wow.
So really, Mango Bae is not. It's our love for each other.
Yeah.
He's my best friend.
I love that.
Yeah.
And tell me, like, each episode, is it a different topic? How do you prepare when you have some great guests on?
Yeah, it's just like we try to go to their core, whoever they are, you know, as people. We had Hassan Manaj, and we just wanted to talk about
That's amazing.
his experience, right?
Yeah.
So he brought us into his studio, and we talked about his experience and like try to get to the real part, not like that sort of, like that, you know, that like the film that
Superficial.
the superficial element that I think we've all been doing. I think 'cause I think in Indians and Desis in general, you're kind of like at the behest of your parents, and even even when you start doing an artistic profession, like say you don't do med school or law, you go into comedy or art, whatever. Even the first stages, they'll be like, "How dare you?" Right? Then they'll be like, "Okay, we accept this, but this is how you're gonna do it."
Right.
So like, I left you so I could do what you want me to do, and then they become brown about their own. So they find the way to become Indian again.
Right.
You know?
So they helicopter over your
They
company.
find yes.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no way to get around it. So we're trying to kind of subvert that idea and be like, just talk about really what you're thinking about, because none of us do, especially on screen.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the idea.
Do you think South Asian representation has gotten better in recent years at all? Is it improving?
I think it's not as good as it could be.
Right.
For sure. Asians got a big win with Crazy Rich Asians.
Wow.
That was big.
One big movie.
That was big. Only us two like it.
Yeah. We're the only two.
Yeah, I never really enjoyed it. I don't think I liked it that much. Crazy bad movie.
Yeah.
No, it's coming. So
Yeah.
I think East Asians are getting a big push right now.
Yeah.
I think we're coming behind. So eventually,
Right.
there's still a void. There's still no Asian sex symbol.
Yeah.
Stephen Yoon, the closest thing, right?
Yeah.
There's no Indian sex symbol right now, in America anyway. So it's one of those things where it's like, we have to push it. But I sometimes I tutor kids, and I tutored this like 7th grader kind of girl who's like a popular chick. And she was pumped about Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
Back in my day, the popular white girls were never going for the minority entertainment. But it's changed so much now that they're like Asians are the hot people
Right.
to young kids.
Right.
So it's changing.
And figures like Hassan Minhaj, who has like a Netflix show, and he's talking about really big issues. I mean, that I think technically you consider it a late night show, so that's a big deal, right?
Yeah. It's coming. So Hassan is the
Yeah.
like the harbinger of a lot of this.
Right.
And I think like it's just coming, and I'm just waiting for Hassan to book me on something. Let's go. I'm here. Which camera do I look at? Please.
Yeah. And on the podcast, you guys cover a variety of issues from like sex to dating, but also kind of really important ones, really particular immigration. I think right now that is probably the most hot topic issue, besides gun violence at this moment. What's it like covering those issues on your podcast, and do you find it really important for you to do that?
So it's like our podcast. It has that mix. It's like it's kind of like both of us, like me and Pranav. It's like a mix of woke and like the ribald. It's like we'll say come and then we'll talk about intersectionality. It's kind of in the same vein, and it's like I guess we try to have fun with it. I don't know. It's just like I think these issues are so intense that if you're gonna have fun with it, also bring in the knowledge.
Right.
Don't just be kind of like a fool about it.
Yeah.
So whenever we try to go crazy on the topic, if you can just like sit back, you realize we're being crazy, but we're also saying some actual points.
Right.
But isn't that authentic? Isn't that how we talk to our friends?
That's how we do it, right?
Like, that's
Yeah.
the reality.
Yeah.
There's always that mix of like serious and humor. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think people who try to like downplay that, and like a lot of the activism now, that's kind of like that's the woke activism.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the activism and none of the love for the actual
Right.
people that you're activizing for. Or what is it, activating?
I don't know. I bought that word though. I was like, yeah.
You say it confident.
Cool.
But that's what it is. I think we lose a lot of the love when you get so hopped up on the ideas of like, gotta be
Right.
an activist, this is my identity, this is who I am. If I'm not this, then what am I? As opposed to, these people actually need our help.
Yes.
What could I do with them?
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bust through that kind of surface level just talk of like, oh, what's happening, and like actually get to the human element. And the best way to do that is be kind of wild.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And you were one of the new faces for Just for Laughs
Yeah.
in 2018,
Yeah.
and then shortly after that,
Oh, yeah.
woo! Clap it up!
Yay.
Nobody knows what that is.
Crazy Asians too?
We just filled our audience with a bunch of stand-up comedians who haven't made any accomplishments yet, so they're happy for you, but they're also really sad for themselves.
Okay.
And then shortly after that, you got passed at the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
So what was it like for you to achieve those two goals, those two milestones?
Ali's also there, by the way.
Once in a while.
Yeah, we all out here. We're doing it. I think JFL was on the map, right? It was like, I'm here now. A lot of the industry knows who you are after you do JFL. And then Cellar is kind of the thing that, it's like beating New York. As if you're like, if comedy's a video game, then Cellar is the boss. And if you win that, you've done New York.
Right.
So it's one of those things. But here's the thing: once you get Cellar, because like as New York comedians, your whole life is get to Cellar. That's the whole currency, right? Like get to Cellar. But once you get there, you realize that it was just one thing, and you still have to figure out how to get fans, how to grow as a comedian, how to actually make content. Like it's one of those things where like what you think is the end is actually just the beginning of Act 2. So I'm still in that space where I'm trying to figure out how to like get my shit to the people,
Yeah. And when you do you ever compare stand-up to doing a podcast? And what would you say is like your favorite part of each compared to the other?
Okay. Podcasting, you don't have to make someone laugh every 13 seconds, right? Comedy is like you have to like elicit a primal reaction every 13 seconds. No other art form has that requirement, right?
Man.
Literally every 13 seconds, a deep biological experience has to happen for it to be considered good, right? That's insane. Podcasting does not have that. Podcasting is just like you can, as long as you're being interesting, it still works.
Yeah.
Whereas comedy, being interesting, nobody.
But I see you post clips from your podcast on Instagram. I'll watch some video clips. You have super high energy,
Yeah.
always on stage,
Yeah.
and it seems on the podcast as well from what I've listened. I have really low energy in general, but I think
It's like a buddy cop
I'm
movie.
always,
Ali, let's go!
yeah, wait a minute. I'm always impressed by your energy. Recently, we were performing at Fairfield Comedy Club.
Oh, yeah.
Usama was the headliner, and I was featuring. My energy was really low. This is just how I am. Usama gets up, destroys the room. His energy's so high. I'm leaving with my parents. My parents are like, Ali, you should take an acting class. I'm like, that's just not my style. But that's something you're so good at. How the fuck do you stay on when you're in a shit mood?
Right. Well, because I'm not always in the mood to do comedy, right? This life
right.
happens, right? But I think So before I do comedy, right? Like if we're doing a show right now, right? It's like, it's a mental thing, right? So like you have to bring yourself there. That's your job, right? To be funny. Like you don't want to be funny, fuck you. You got to be funny.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? I guess I gotta like, there's like visualization. There's repurposing your brain. Say like, okay, they're here for me. So bring yourself back to that love mindset. Like they might be shitty, but they're here for comedy. So let's explore together. So if like repurposing what you say to your own brain, I think is the most important thing. So like if you're sad, be like, what? They're here for the show. I'm here for them. Let's connect.
Yeah.
And that want to connect always puts you back in that space of like being your most
That was
natural
very well
self.
said.
Yeah.
You're dropping some comedy.
Yeah, sure.
Knowledge.
Is anyone
Yeah.
a comic here?
You're
So, yeah.
kidding these guys?
Lost on everybody.
The guy asleep over there? He's a huge comedian.
He's asleep. Wake up, you're being paid. Wake up!
He's a huge star.
Wake up!
Just for laughs.
Why are you wearing a hoodie in the summer? What's going on?
It's not that cold.
Oh, he's on his phone too.
On that note, have you gotten into acting, or is that something that you want to grow in that space?
Yeah, acting is big. It's one of those things where it's like, as a comic, you just gotta diversify. The world of comedy isn't like you can just be a comic and just make money out there anymore. So if you're not diversifying, you're doing a disservice to yourself. So I'm trying to get in. It's tough. It's the same kind of game.
Yeah.
But I would hate to be an actor only.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That you don't have any feedback. Like your feedback is like 2 years later. Feedback in comedy is you do a joke and then boom.
Right.
After you get that level of quick feedback, you can't do anything else.
Yeah, so why did that pilot not go, 2 years ago,
yeah,
the
yeah.
producer,
Got
he
it.
thought you were a little dry.
Right. You gotta meet the guy in a bar in 2030.
Oh, I remember you, yeah.
You were the skinny guy who was too skinny for the role.
Right, yeah.
That was the only reason why we didn't cast.
Yeah.
Wait, and speaking of diversified, you also beatbox?
Yeah.
So can you? What is that?
Put him on the spot.
I'll do it with you.
Well, can you freestyle?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, Brittany can.
Yeah, I can.
Can you really?
No.
Okay.
Can anyone freestyle?
I can try, but I heard you. I just love how like many things you do.
He's
Yeah,
a
sure.
good beatboxer.
Sure, okay.
Come on, do something.
Okay.
Just drop a little beat.
Okay, sure. Okay. Yeah. If it'll wake that guy up, sure.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
I'll start it for you.
I wish the guy who was sleeping could freestyle.
All right, sure.
Hey. Hey.
Okay, and never mind.
I was just having fun today. I was gonna jump
Thank you
in.
so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
I getting up?
No. Everyone, make sure to check out Mango Bae, available on the Apple Podcast app and other podcasting platforms. That's all from us. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same table. Usama Siddiquee.